For Sotheby's International Realty Ninjas. We have an incredible panel for you today, and we would like to share some amazing, incredible news today. We hit 2,000 Sotheby's International Realty Ninjas in our group. We are so grateful for all of you and welcome to our Facebook group. This is a private group for Sotheby's International Realty Ninjas who have gone through the 4-day installation and have graduated. And here we want to share all things ninja selling and all things Sotheby's International Realty, creating value for each other. And there's going to be a lot of tools that you'll find here in our group. And we've got a wonderful lineup and a schedule on every weekend. We've got Ninja Wellness that starts with Nancy Tallman on Saturdays. She's going to be doing some wellness and mindfulness tips in addition to hosting a yoga event that she is a trainer for. And then we also have on Saturdays, David Gem will be hosting our Sunday fitness and wellness and everything around taking better care of ourselves. So please look for that video. We have Carolyn Bateman, who's also going to be talking to us every Sunday and sharing information about what it is to really plan ahead and think about more mindfulness and planning ahead and time blocking for the week. We go into Coffee Talk every Monday, and that will be with myself, Christine Newell, and Maria Vitale. And we love to have an inspirational start to our week. Followed by Tuesdays, we're going to have Ann Shumbo and Nick Kulovic alternating with awesome, super social media tips for us that we will be learning, more and more about how we can utilize social media in our business. And on Wednesdays, we have our Ninja Skills Refresher group, and that is taught by Carolyn Bateman and Katie Durkin. And on Thursdays, we have this event. And then going straight into Fridays, we are about to launch our Ninja Book Club. So stay tuned for more details on that. We welcome all of you here. We're so grateful to have you. I really want to give a great deal of praise to our Ninja Tribe that I just mentioned. All of our moderators, our admin, getting 2,000 people qualified to be in this group is quite a feat, but then really starting slow so that we can have something that is lasting and that will sustain as we move forward is really going to be so powerful for all of us. And so grateful for all of our admin and moderators who made all of this possible, and to each and every one of you as well. So I want to talk to you today about 4 amazing people. We've got 2 people. We're highlighting 2 incredible ninja companies, Briggs Freeman, Sotheby's International Realty in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, and Plano, Texas. And we also have Premier Sotheby's International Realty, both wonderful ninja companies. And Premier Sotheby's International Realty right now has about 350 graduated ninjas, and our Briggs Freeman Sotheby's International Realty has already done three installations already in 1 year. In fact, they were the very first one to have the customized Sotheby's International Realty slide deck, and really where we integrated our brand into the installation. So, and I think we have almost 300 ninjas coming from Dallas and Fort Worth and Plano with Briggs Freeman Sotheby's International Realty. When we started talking about superstars, the list is enormous of how many there are of you, and within our brand and how many superstars they are. We really started taking a look at some authentic traits that we wanted to share with you that I hope will be relevant for all of you. So let me start to introduce our panel today. If you could go ahead and put your videos on. We have from Premier Sotheby's International Realty, Friley Saucier from Naples, Florida. Welcome. And we've got Janet Moore from Tampa Bay, Florida with Premier Sotheby's International Realty. And then moving to Texas, we've got Pojay, who is in Dallas, Texas. Welcome, Pojay. And we also have Devin. Devin Reyes is in Fort Worth, Texas, and she's coming to us from Fort Worth today. Each one of these ninjas has a really special very cool vibe about them, as most of us ninjas do. But we're gonna pick up on some of those today. I think that taking a look at the different traits, it's been really spectacular. Devin, I'm just going to point you out real quick, because not only are you a superstar ninja with your husband Alberto, but in addition to that, you have 4 kids, and 4 kids that are under the age of, is it 7? Yeah, 7 and under. So, right now we're talking ninja parenting all the way. And so we're definitely going to make sure we have some questions around that as well. So I'd like to jump into, some of the questions for everyone. And one of the things that, when I had a great conversation with each one of our panelists today individually, I asked them, what is the number one takeaway that you had from our ninja selling installations? What do you feel was just truly, truly important? And there were a lot of answers, but ultimately it always came down to a resounding mindset and the power of our mindset. So what I'd like to do is kind of focus in on that. And Friley, let's start with you. I'd really like to learn more about how you have implemented mindset, why that was so important to you, and talk to us about what your morning routine looks like.
Thank you so much, Melanie, and thank you for having me today to join this very talented group here. I would say that my morning ritual has become like breathing. It's like oxygen first thing in the morning, and my day cannot be complete without starting it with my morning ritual. And it's, while it's all the great things that are in Ninja, I mean, it's, writing in my gratitude journal, writing my affirmations, and reading something that inspires me. This is a book probably many of you have never seen, but I get up in the mornings, I put my feet on the ground, I brush my teeth, I make my bed, I go make my tea, and I have very soft lighting in my home. And I do all of these things first thing in the morning. And I don't look at email, I don't look at my phone. I don't even feed my cat until I've done these things. And it's really funny because my cat's even sort of gotten into it. She knows that I've got this little morning routine and she likes to be a part of that. But it's just a great way to start my day. And it's changed my mindset too on how the day starts and how my day ends, because it's really about the gratitude, and it's really about setting that mindset of the intentions of your affirmations. So for me, it's a must.
And what time do you usually start your morning routine, or does it vary every day?
I would say by 6, and some mornings I get up as early as 5. So whenever I wake up, I just go in motion. I mean, it's just like autopilot for me to go into that. If I get up earlier, I don't say, well, gee, I'm just going to hang out, I'm going to go do something else. But I mean, I keep that same routine so it's consistent. And I get through that. I do my notes. When I get to my desk, I look at my hot sheet, my warm sheet. I tally up all the business in my pipeline every single morning. And then I go out and exercise, and I come back and get into my other programs. So in the mornings, I either do water aerobics or get out and ride my bike, since the gyms have been closed.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Friley. Devin, I'd like to move to you real quick. And I did mention that you have those 4 beautiful children. You and Alberto are not only managing your business, but you're also managing some schooling and some even toddler activities that are happening right now. One of the things that really impressed me about you is how you really, really implemented the systems instantly into your daily routine, and you really took the ninja selling systems and just really created and made them your own. Talk to us how this transition has gone, taking care of you first. Let's start with, how are you taking care of you, knowing that you are wearing so many different hats, and how does your morning look?
Sure. And it's boiling back down to mindset. And that's why we all said it was the most important thing. With the kiddos, I wanted to show a picture. This is our family, if everybody can see. So I'm hugely proud of our family. It obviously comes with a lot of extra responsibility. And one of the biggest mindset exercises I remember from the Ninja installation was when you said, I want you to write down everything that you guys had to do in the morning before you got here to class. And I was like, I'm gonna kill everybody. I'm gonna write down a million things because I got 4 tykes to deal with. I've got daycare. You know, I was like, I'm gonna nail this. I've got a million things that I have to do. And I wrote everything down. And Melanie goes, now change have to get to. And it was so powerful for me. And it swept my whole life and everything about it back into gratitude. And that's what we focus on. And so when we talk about all these responsibilities with these kiddos, part of our responsibility is us focusing on gratitude and teaching them gratitude. Our responsibility to instill that sense of happiness and joy in our children. And so we've got to get that right. And so just like Friley was saying, we wake up early, and we have to wake up early because I have to start the day as Devin and not as mom. So I have to start the day as Devin, and I wake up and, you know, we do our routine. We look at our life list. We study that. We look at that. We prioritize what are we accomplishing on this list with each day. We're going through our gratitudes and our hot and warm volume, just like Friley was saying. It gives us so much clarity for the day, because the minute those kids get up, it's chaos. And, you know, the day throws chaos at us too. When we were in the office, the day was throwing chaos at us. So we have to protect that mindset and constantly go back to that gratitude and constantly go back to what was our plan for today? What were our priorities for today? And, you know, if I have to have a moment to decompress, I say, Alberto, I'm going to go to the room and I'm going to read for about 30 minutes. Can you please keep everyone away from me? And he's so wonderful. And he does the same thing. If he's got to get out, he's got to go mow the lawn or something, he's like, I just need a second. So we help each other protect our mindset. We exercise, and we prioritize that downtime to play with the kids, to do homeschool, to spend time outside. We prioritize those things too.
Fantastic. You have a lot of hats, and I think that you just spoke to a very large audience right now that is feeling those struggles and those pains as well too. And you know what I really thought was really valuable that you said is that you need to start each day being Devin. And you need to wake up and, you know, before you can transition into starting strong as a mom and as a realtor, you know, you really need to start each day. And that's a valuable gift each one of us can absolutely give ourselves. Pooja, a little bit different question for you. You are in Dallas, Texas, and I know that you were kind of a little apprehensive about maybe taking the Ninja installation, and Robbie Briggs came to you and asked you, you know, said you need to do this. So can you share with us a little bit more about that and what that has really meant to you? You know, how has this changed the way you do business and think?
Well, firstly, welcome everybody. And I'll never forget the day I was in the office and Robbie walked up to me and said, you know, the Ninja installation is next week. Are you doing it? And I said, you know, Robbie, you know, I think I'm a natural ninja. And he looked at me and he said 4 words, and they were, you will love it. And I thought about it that afternoon, and I thought what he said, and I was like, wow, that's powerful coming from Robbie. And I made the decision, okay, I'm going to do it. 4 days, I'm going to do it. And the following week, I signed up. And I got to tell you, from the moment that first day finished, my life changed, not just personally, but also for my business world. And from that first day I got home, I made wrote my first personal cards. One was to my wife, and the others were to my 2 little kids and to my nannies. And they were very powerful, they were very heartfelt and very emotional. And the impact, you got tears, you got smiles, and that just changed the setting of my life at home. And then for work itself, every day from that first day at the Ninja, as I left the building, the hotel, from the guy at the door, the valet guy, to anybody I met, I had this infectious energy and positive attitude, and I could feel it and see it, and people could experience it. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. And it's continued since then, and I continue to do that. And I get up every morning and I do my gratitudes, do my affirmations, And I start off, I am an extremely positive guy, but it's raised my level up and it's made a huge impact on my life.
That's beautiful. I feel like we can actually feel that energy right now, and it might be the accent. You know, I love accents, but I mean, you really do exude, you know, such a high level of, you know, just passion and love for everyone that you're engaged with. So thank you, Pooja.
Thank
Janet,
you.
let's move to Florida and let's talk about Tampa Bay, Florida. And, you know, I see Janet Moore everywhere, and Janet Moore is always working so hard, but it's always with, you know, when I think about the Go Giver book, you know, you're one of the first people that comes to mind, you and several others, but, you know, it feels like, I'm just curious, how are you managing your day and your mindset? Because you've been nicknamed the Energizer Bunny. You know, you really do so much in one day. So share with us what that looks like.
Hi, everybody, and thank you so much, Melanie, for having me on here with these amazing rock stars. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm so happy that I'm part of Ninja, and the way I do everything is I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and I first start off with doing my affirmations, and I write down my gratitudes that I'm grateful for this morning, kind of like, hi, you know, I'm awake, alive, and full of energy. That's how I start my day. Then I basically hop on a 5 o'clock mastermind call that I'm able to do. And then I basically kind of go through my schedule because I time block everything that I do. And I kind of I stay with my schedule to get everything done. So,
you know, one of the things that I love that you mentioned was that you really schedule everything as an appointment. You know, you really do, you know, and so give us an example of what you mean by that.
So the night before, I usually look at my whole schedule. Usually like Sunday night, I'll start out the whole week, and then I'll tweak it the night before to see which clients are coming in from out of town or locally, or if I have to do a Zoom call or a virtual open house or something like that. I will set my schedule. So this way I make sure that I plan everything accordingly. For that, I make sure that I also have follow-up time for clients and also for prospecting as well to keep my pipeline open. And then I also make time for family and for myself too.
And for yourself too. How are you starting, you know, how do you recharge that mindset if you're starting to feel like you're pulled in many different directions, which many of us are, especially now?
I pray, and a lot of people will call that meditation. I pray throughout the day. I like to have quiet time with God, and that gets me through and gives me strength. And that carries me through, and I'm always happy. I'm always I'm very bubbly, and I'm full of energy. So it's just wherever I go, I'm just happy and excited to see people, help people, meet people. So.
I'd like to stick with you just a little bit longer, if that's okay. And I'd like to go a little bit deeper on just learning a little bit more about your vital few. And when we talk about the vital few, you know, there are some real strengths that you have really positioned your business upon. And I mentioned earlier that you are the go-giver, the natural go-giver. Can you share with us a little bit more about where that came from and just some of the things that that you have really implemented into your business naturally as a go-giver?
Just a little bit of background about myself. I had a Christian upbringing. My grandfather, we started the First Chinese Baptist Church in New York City. So my whole life, all I knew was how to give and care for others. And that's what my grandfather instilled in me. And that's what I continue to do today. I don't know anything different. And it just gives me joy to help people. If you want an ear to listen to, or if you need help in any shape or form, if I can do it, I will do it and make the time to do it.
Can you give some examples of, you know, I can give an example. I can share with you that, you know, the very first time that I met you and you were coming to the Live Connect, I was greeted with, you know, a box of brownies and just, you know, just as an introduction, and, you know, that that was such a thoughtful gift, you know, coming. You were kind of reaching out to the leadership within Live Sotheby's International Realty at the time, and I was one of the recipients of this beautiful, beautiful box of brownies. So, and then also on Easter again, I got a lovely box of chocolate. So, share with us kind of how you come up with those ideas, and are there certain gifts that you know love, or holidays, or you know how are you instilling this in your daily life?
I like to bring happiness to people, because you don't know what someone else is really going through. And I feel like if I can make somebody happy or just put a smile on their face and they were not expecting it, then that made me happy. I made a difference in someone's life. So to me, you know, everybody loves brownies. And that was my first event, by the way, because I just joined Sotheby's at that time. And I heard about it and I really wanted to go. And I just wanted to bring everybody brownies. So actually I had about 75 boxes with me. I gave them all out to people that I met there. I had them shipped to my hotel room. I had a suite with a kitchenette in it, and you know there were smaller boxes, and I just wanted to be different. I wanted to be memorable, you know, and that's how I treat my clients. Like after I close a home with them, or when I meet them, if you're sending me a referral client and I'm greeting them at the airport or something, I just want to show them welcome and love and happiness and just be open. And that's my way of showing that I care and that I like them and I want to do business with them.
Well, what an amazing opportunity you took to start being memorable and being differentiated. Just, I had no idea that you had just joined Premier Sotheby's International Realty. I had no idea. What a great opportunity to really start creating those relationships, which you have since then taken to a very strong level. And, you know, I asked you, you know, what specific, you know, events do you go to within Sotheby's International Realty? And your answer was?
I try to go to all of them.
All of them.
To me, if I go and meet somebody in person, we can have this one-on-one relationship. I can get to know you as a person deeper than, you know, through a phone call, and I can just see how your mannerisms are and just to get to know you and just understand you, and you can understand me. And this way, when I have a client, I can say, oh, well, I can send a referral to Farley. I met her and she's in Naples, and I can send something to Devin. She's in Fort Worth, and Koji, he's in Dallas. So it's kind of like I make notes of everybody that I meet, and then I'll follow up and send them something like a card or something, you know, with a little brownie or something, and say, hey, it was a pleasure to meet you, and follow up with them as well.
Well, thank you for that. It's a tremendous gift that you are giving everyone, and your clients feel it as well. You know, it really, everyone around you. It's just a lot of love coming straight from you. Riley, can we move to you? I am just enamored with your power of your personal note cards, and this is something that, you know, was something that you brought into Ninja and you embraced even further. But can you tell us about that being, how that has worked for you in the Ninja Note? And
yeah. So, you know, love letters have been a part of my life, part of my, you know, my teenage and my adult life. And my mother was always a note writer. I mean, she used to write notes to her friends, family members every day. And when I left home, I started receiving these love letters from my mother. And I have boxes of these letters that I have kept all these years, decades of letters that my mother has sent me. And, you know, she always had all kinds of pretty stationery, and, you know, I just loved that not every letter looked the same or had the same tone to it. It was always very individual for the person. And I always felt that way whenever I received a letter. I call them love letters, whenever I got a love letter from her. And so coming into Ninja and seeing, you know, that was part of the program, I mean, that was just so easy for me. And, you know, to see a room full of people that were struggling to write letters and go, oh my gosh, who do I write to and what do I say? I mean, it was just, I had done it for so long. So for me, you know, if you watch my Evoker film, it opens with me writing a love letter to someone. And, you know, my hope is that when somebody gets a letter from me, that they feel the warmth, they feel a hug, they feel a kiss, you know, that they feel the message that's on the paper, and that it's not just words, you know, pinned on a piece of stationery. And, you know, to my mother's testament, I have so many different kinds of stuff. I probably have 50 different kinds of stationery at any given time. And I literally, in the mornings when I go to write my notes, I pick out which stationery I'm going to send based on my message and to who it's going to. You know, and that's a lot of fun. I mean, I think there's a real art in writing letters, and I think they're very powerful. You know, so often people will tell me, "Oh my gosh, I got a love letter from you today, and it's been on my desk for 30 days." You know, or people will send me pictures of things that they received in the mail. So it's a lot of fun for me to do that. And I just think it's a lost art. And I'm glad to see that that's something that's embraced by the Ninja program. You know, you think about receiving an email or receiving a personal handwritten note. The power of that note is, I mean, I don't even know how you can compare the two. You know, somebody is going to remember your handwritten note well above an email. So it's just something really powerful for me. It's always been something very personal for me, and you know, it's just easy. And that too is part of my, you know, my morning routine. And I think that also goes along with giving and, you know, sharing of yourself in a note. You know, telling someone how much you appreciate them, or you know, you're grateful for something they've done, or that you admire them for some reason. I mean, that is a gift to share with someone. So I treasure these, and I find the more I write, the more I receive, you know, and that sort of goes back to the go-giver as well. You know, the more that you give, the more you receive. And that's all part of it. You have to be willing to receive, because if you don't, then you're taking the give away from somebody else.
That's an excellent point. The law of receptivity is so important, that we open ourselves up not just to give, but also to be able to receive. So I'm grateful that you said that. One thing about you, Friley, that I am just so intrigued with is you are so authentic around the creating the relationships. In fact, it never translates to business. You don't talk about clients and deals, but it definitely obviously comes back to you in spades, you know, with the business. And, you know, can you share a little bit more about how this,
Sure.
you know,
Well,
turned
I
into
think that's, you know, I think that's the ultimate ninja, is not talking about business and flying under the radar and really building the relationships. You know, if you have good relationships with people and you really get to know them, they're always going to want to help you. They're always going to want to help you grow or do whatever it is. And that's just human nature. Is to, you know, when you find people that you know, like, and trust, and you have relationships with them, you want to help them. So you know, I sort of find that just getting to know people, building relationships, all sorts of good things come from that. You know, it's not just business referrals, but I've made unbelievable friends. I mean, I grew up basically as an only child with a single parent. And, you know, I have the big family I always dreamed of having. And that's really wonderful. So there's so much that comes with relationships. And yeah, I'm not one that goes, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so strategic about how I'm going to get this person to do this or do that or do whatever. I mean, I think if you just, you know, are good at providing information, and you're authentic, people are going to come to you. They're going to be drawn to you like a magnet. And I just, you know, I think again, that's that law of receptivity. If you give it, it just sort of comes back to you. But yeah, building relationships has always been important to me. Even as a child, you know, my parents would say, oh my gosh, you would get up and walk out the restaurant door with anybody, you know, because you just walk up to people and start talking to them at a table. So it's just in my blood, I guess.
well, but it's the law of authenticity as well. And so when we start thinking about you have to get that next deal, that next deal, that next deal. I hope that Friley, really comes into your mind. And, the whole ninja selling philosophy is around creating relationships. It's about them. It's not about us. And money flows to value. And when we give that value, we will see the business coming back to us in spades. And
Absolutely.
it's a relationship business. So let's continue on that, and let's move to Pojay. And Pojay, you have a very, very, very unique and exciting way to dive deeper, into these relationships and how you create the relationships. Can you talk to us? We're still on the Ninja 9, and we're talking about our habits. And one of the habits that really stood out to me when we were talking earlier this week was you were talking about the power of the phone and the 50 live interviews that we try to make 10 a day, and we want to have 50 a week, but you've taken this to the next level. So we would love to hear more about this.
Okay, so firstly, I started off with a passion for writing the note cards, and I would do them very, very diligently, and then with creativity and great thought into the composition. And then once the stay-at-home, stay-in-place came about, I changed and I pivoted from writing the postcards and really going extreme with the phone calls. And so literally I started calling, and right now, 45 days into this stay at home, stay in place, I'm at over 637 calls. And the calls are extremely, extremely rewarding, not just for me personally, but for the people I call. They can feel it in your voice. They can feel your authenticity. They can feel you care. And I'm blown away by the power of that phone call. So every day I'm doing it, and it's been incredible. It's been really uplifting for the people I'm calling, plus for me personally. And I'm amazed that you don't talk about real estate, but 95% of them bring real estate into the conversation. And then I'm even surprised by, they say, I've been thinking about it. How about we talk about this property? I was not expecting to get listings from these phone calls. But I got to tell you, it's happening, and I'm reaching a stage here, sitting at home in stay-in-place situation, where I'm literally at the most listings I've ever had in my nearly 9-year career. And I'm just blown away by people's reaction to you taking the time to call them and show that you really care. So it's been incredible, and I'm continuing. And the phone is your powerful tool, and the tools of the phone, I love them. And also I want to tell people, I'm going to share the screen if it's all right, Melanie. What
Yes,
I do is I'm going to share the screen, and it comes up, and I literally take a picture of every note card I write. And what it does for me is when that person calls me back, once they receive the card, I can pull it up and look what I said. And each one is designed. I'm just going to pick one randomly, maybe something, I don't know who it is, but I'm just going to pick it. And you can see the fun that I have. This guy's involved in real estate development, cars. And so I wrote a little note to him after he had an event at his house. And then by doing that, it's just like you remember what you wrote, you think about that person, and it's very powerful. So I love the idea of creating albums on your phone that you can go to and use, that when you're with a person, if they're a car guy, you can click on your cars and show them all the car stories that you can connect with them. So everything you do, your passions, you create these albums, carry them on your phone, and then literally use them to connect with the people on a much higher level.
That is incredible. I mean, what a deeper conversation and a relationship you get to build so quickly by truly listening to what they're saying and then being able to be relatable with that conversation. I love the albums and, just the note cards, and then also just having the categories. You mentioned you don't drink wine, but you've got a wine category as well. So you can talk all things and all subjects, but you're really making it be about them and creating so much value with that.
The
One
biggest
thing
thing is to listen, as you always say. you listen and find out what they're passionate about, and then you connect with them by showing them things that, wow, they then get even more excited.
You know, Pooja, you were really honest and vulnerable. And when you said, you know, when this COVID event happened and we had to stay at home, your business took a dramatic turn. Can you share with us, you know, a little bit more about that and how you used your mindset to stay strong?
Yeah, well, I was starting off the year really strong. I had 5 contracts, and it was looking fantastic. And the last week, just before we hit stay at home, I lost 4 of the deals. So literally, I've not had a paycheck this first 4 months at all. They all disappeared. But I tell you, the Ninja helped me, and there's abundance, and I felt positive, and all I did was focus on everything that I do every day. My attitude has never been better. I haven't got these contracts, but I'm in touch with the people, working slowly to try and get them back. But I have got 46 listings ready to go, and things are happening. I'm excited, I'm positive, and it's going to turn out to be the best year of my career, but it's going to be in a short span. But we're going to work hard and we're going to get it done. And my people, my clients can feel it, and it's just amazing. So as bad as it was, this has helped me so tremendously to stay positive, to stay focused, and to just be that person that knows it's all going to work out. And I'm so grateful for those 4 words, "You will love it," that Robbie told me, because it not only, as I said before, it changed my life.
Well, thank you, Pooja, and thank you for sharing that as well. Mindset is so powerful, and it's so critical, you know, when we get down as well. And you just kept the faith and made those phone calls, and TSW, it really does work. So thank you. Janet, one thing that we talk about in the Ninja installation is we really share the idea of wealth creation, and the wealth creation model is all around creating, you know, keeping your expenses low, and as your income starts to rise, you know, being able to have an opportunity to use this money in investments. And we realtors know real estate, right? So one of the best investments we can do are investing in rental properties and creating passive income. And through our conversation this week, I learned more about you, and you had a really big leader in your life that shared with you, you know, how this can work. Can you speak to that and how you have transitioned this into your own life?
Absolutely. Well, my parents were immigrant entrepreneurs. My father started off as a dishwasher. He came through Ellis Island in New York City, and he then worked his way up to own 3 Chinese restaurants and owned several buildings as well in New York City. And I currently still have those apartment buildings. He told me that these are my golden goose eggs that I can never sell, and that it's always passive income is the best way. And my husband and I have started a plan where we purchase a certain amount of rental properties, you know, every 5 years to make sure that we keep our passive income growing. So we have a very good opportunity here in Florida too. So it's been great.
You know, and then the next question I asked you, after I was so impressed that you've been able to do this, you know, learning from your father, and then also starting this with your husband and your own rentals, but you've shared this knowledge with clients as well. And can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I recently received a referral from somebody in Austin, and this client really wanted to buy a house. They just loved it so much, but it turned out that it's the most expensive home in that subdivision and on that block. And I just told them, I said, hey, if you really want it, I'll go ahead and negotiate it for you, but it's not going to be a good buy. And long story short, we spoke about it. They said, you know what, we're going to go with your advice. So they're waiting for me. I'm showing how I do the numbers to make sure that they get the proper ROI on their investment. If not, I'm not an agent to just sell a house. I'm here for the long-term relationship. I want to make sure that they can rent it out for a good price if they want to have tenants in there, to make sure that they're going to get that value and that they'll love me and they won't hate me and say, what happened? You told me to buy this and I'm not making money. I
Yeah.
don't want that to happen.
It's a gift. It's a gift to give yourselves, because guess what? Realtors do get to retire. And
Yes.
we can plan for retirement. And one beautiful way to do that is through the wealth creation model. And, we call it wake up money, and, start investing in rental properties. So really exciting to hear that you did that. Hey, Janet, I know that we are going to let you go a little bit earlier because you have another panel that you'll be joining. So my question for you is, what is the number one takeaway that you would like to leave our ninjas with today before you leave us to join your other panel?
Well, thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. I wanted to leave a note for everybody saying that during this COVID-19 epidemic, it's really important to follow up with all your clients. I mean, I'm an agent that follows up anyway with my clients every 2 weeks. Every day I'm making, 30 to 40 calls a day, just whether it's a text, a call, a Zoom call. But the most important is follow through. So this way you stay on top of their mind because you've already built that relationship and it's already solidified. You want to grow deeper with that, because your current sphere is going to help you grow it automatically by them knowing you, that you're caring and you're sincere, and that it's not about business. It's about the relationship and that you care for them. And that's where your pipeline will stay full too. So
well, thank you for that. We appreciate you. And, I know that you need to jump on to the other one. So thank you for being with us today.
thank you so much, everybody. Be
Yeah.
safe and be well.
Yes. Okay, so Devin, let's go to my ninja mama. So Devin, you really, as I mentioned before, really are a systems-oriented person, and you have really taken the systems and put them into practice with Alberto, and you made the business go really well. And then I remember a Facebook post, it's really stuck with me, and you had this aha moment, and you said, why are we not doing this with our family, and why are we not creating fun for our family, and making sure that we are really basically creating a ninja family and taking those systems and then transferring them over to the family. So first of all, I'd like you to talk about the Ninja 9, what that has, what your strongest focus is in those systems and how you're doing that. But then can we then go a little bit deeper and how we translate that into the family? So let's start with the business.
So I think this can all kind of go back to a little bit of background on myself and Alberto. We came from the military, so we were both military officers. So discipline, rules, systems, that's a part of what we do, and we're hard workers. And so, we got into real estate and just hit the ground running. And, we would blast through all of this work, and I would kind of get to the end of the day and go, but what did we do? What did we accomplish? And I realized after going through the Ninja installation, we were spending all of this time on everything else, and busying ourselves. And we were just grinding through each day. And we were successful, but I felt like there was so much untapped potential. And we got to these Ninja systems, and it was just amazing to us because everything drove back to the mindset, to relationships, and to delivering value to people. And those were things where we were so transient in the military, we didn't have relationships and friendships. We moved every 6 to 7 months. My parents weren't social people, so I never had friendship modeled to me, which sounds absurd, but it's true. And so, I'm a power perfectionist personality. So I would overcomplicate the concept of friendship and just avoid it altogether. And instead go to bullet points and task oriented and get stuff done. And when the Ninja system came into place, we saw all of these things that not only built our business, but enriched our lives as well. And, we implement all the systems. We've still implemented all the systems, just like all of these amazing rock star ninjas. Even during this virus situation, we're doing the real estate reviews. We're making all of the phone calls. We're writing all of the notes. We're maintaining that hot and warm list. We're looking at everything. We're sending out our mailings. But it all comes back to the relationship. And prior to Ninja, I didn't know how to do that. And I didn't know how valuable it would be for our personal life and for our business. So the business side of things, focusing on those relationships has enriched everything about our business. It has made us far more effective. The referral rate for us has skyrocketed. And so I know that we're doing everything right there, but it has enriched our lives. I was telling you on the phone yesterday, there are so many people I miss right now. And 2 years ago, I don't think that I could have said that. And there's people I want to get out and go see. And we didn't have those friendships before. But going into the family life, you know, I mentioned the grind. We were just grinding. And we would pluck these arbitrary volume plateaus out of the sky for our yearly goal. We would say, we want to do this, and just chase after it. And it never bounced back. It never translated to, what are we doing for our lives? Why are we doing all of this work? And for us to write out that life list and to write out the monetary goals associated with it, and to be able to have that as a guide, that's why we started waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we could look at our life list and say, you know what, we work our tails off. Let's plan that vacation. Let's plan this dream. Let's make this happen for our kids. Let's get them into sports. Let's do these things. And it has, again, it's just enriched our lives completely. It's changed our lives.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch and to have conversations with you over the past several months, and to learn how you are implementing that with the kids. And you really are building, little ninja family. You know, one of the key things that I took away yesterday too was that you said, I'm not a helicopter mom. Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, the thing with that is, you were asking about how are we balancing all of this? How are we doing homeschool and the business? I mean, we're still doing, like all these rock stars, we're doing work right now during this time. And we're still on track for our yearly GCI goal. And I'm just going, how is this possible? But we still have so much on our plate. I was mentioning that because we allow them to have their own time too. And I can't afford to personally or professionally spend every moment with these little babies. And so they have their time too. They spend time outside, and they garden, and they do their schoolwork. And, we are creating little independent people who can pursue their own dreams and passions too.
What a gift. I thought that was really important for you to share with everyone, because they are, they're all evolving into their own personalities. And I think as a ninja parent, that is a tremendous gift to be able to give that to them, and to also to understand that we don't have to be with them every second of the day. We need our personal time. Guess what? They do as well. And so what a great message. Okay, I would like to talk about Sotheby's International Realty, and I'd really like to, talk about how, it's not just a referral network. This is a family, and this is such a gift that we all have at by being a member of this family. And there's so many relationships that we can build on that. And Friley, I'd like to start with you. And can you share with us just how you have built relationships? Because you receive most of your referrals come from Sotheby's International.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I've been with the company for about 7.5 years. And I was with a regional luxury broker before I joined Premier Sotheby's. And I did a great job building, relationships with people, getting referrals from my customers, repeat customers, all of that. And I scratched my head one day and I went, why am I not doing this with agents? So I decided I needed a bigger platform and a more global platform to do that. And Sotheby's seemed to be the perfect fit for me to do that. So my philosophy is, I go out and travel. I'm on the road every month except for 3 months of the year with Sotheby's. I am somewhere. I'm going to a regional event, a G&E. I create my own events to go to. I'll fly to an affiliate, host a cocktail party. I'll call 5 of my ninja friends and say, hey, let's go to this city and, you know, have a little lunch for all their new agents. Or, I mean, there's all sorts of things you can create and do. But I really treat the Sotheby's agents and all agents, even the other agents here in Naples, no matter what firm they're with, like I do my customers. So I build the same kinds of relationships. You will never hear me say to an agent, I'd appreciate you sending me your referrals. What I always say to somebody when I first meet them is, I welcome hearing from you anytime I can be of help to you, no matter what it is. You know, you need an agent in, you know, Big Sky, Montana, call me. I know a great agent there. So, you know, it's just about adding value to agents. And I think that's the best networking that can be done. But you do have to show up and you do have to be present, even in a time like this when there's a pandemic and that we're all under shelter order. You know, I moderate calls every week with different groups of Sotheby's agents, you know, and maybe it's, you know, regional or local groups, or, you know, a book club kind of thing, or a coaching group, whatever it is. But I mean, throughout all of this, I have been as connected as ever with what I affectionately call my blue friends.
Blue friends. That's great. Well, and what was the percentage that you said that your business comes from?
On average, year to year, at least 65% of my business comes from Sotheby's referrals. And I don't ask for any of those. Those are just people that call me and go, hey, you know what, I want to send you this customer. You know, and when somebody sends me a customer, that's for life. That's not just a one-hit wonder that I do with them. So yeah, it's huge. And, you know, I don't farm an area, so I don't have all these huge marketing expenses. My marketing expenses are going to events. And that to me is like going on vacation with my blue family. So, I mean, I don't know how you call that work, but anyway.
Harmony, we do. Thank you. Thank you, Briley. Pooja, I know that you also attend a lot of events, but you also have, going back to the power of the phone, tell us how you have, you know, really implemented your calls with Sotheby's International Realty.
Yeah, well, as you know, I love the calls. So not only am I calling clients, but as Riley says, the agents are so important. They are your friends, they are your family. And so I've literally made an effort to really stay in touch with these people wherever they are around the world, and leaving messages. You got to really think about what you leave a message, what you say, make it fun, make them smile, make them laugh. And the reactions I get, I love leaving messages. And if you continually do that to people all over the world, you'll find they respond to you so incredibly amazing. And it's just beautiful. And then what I like to do as well is call before you visiting a town or a city or a place, and actually check in with the Sotheby's office in that area, find out when they're having their meeting, when do the office meet. And I literally go to their office meetings and be part of them. And they're always very generous to invite you to say a few words. And I've been going to Scenic Sotheby's meeting on a Tuesday, I think it is, down in the Panhandle of Florida for the last 6 years. And it's been incredible. You get to know another whole group of people. And, you know, just by being there, they become your friends. You invite them to your beach house to come and enjoy the time together. And it's really special. I think people forget how incredibly special this Sotheby's brand is around the world. And when you pull out that card, that blue card, wherever you are, to any person, I always pull it out and never show my name side first. I always hand it with the Sotheby's side first. And the reaction is, whether it's anywhere in the world, is so incredibly powerful. And just immediately they know you are with the best. And it sets you on another level. You're elevated above everybody else. And I really enjoy that. I feel that it's something we're all part of, and it's just so incredibly powerful. But making calls, these people are your friends. I called and spoke to your husband, Melanie, and it was just an incredible call. And we spoke about things that you would never have thought possible to talk about, from boats to yachts to dockyards. And it's just so amazing, is learning what is interesting to somebody else and then being able to talk about it. So I try to really to become not the expert, but have great knowledge of so many variety of subjects, so people want to talk to you.
You know, that was a meaningful conversation that Marty shared with me, and he was so impressed by that. Just as a, you know, an example is, you know, we were talking about super yachts, and he knows about watches, and you know, and I know that you're getting into this album, you know, because you had these, and so it just made it a really deeper, meaningful relationship. So that is fantastic. Everyone, just remember the powerful resources we have within our Sotheby's International Realty family to create these relationships, and that it really is what it's about. The number one reason I say this all the time, why I work for Sotheby's International Realty, is because the power of our people and the opportunities that we have to connect and really just to make these relationships deeper. So in closing, I'd like to give each of you an opportunity to just kind of impart with us a gift maybe that you're taking with you as the economy starts to open back up and as we see the light at the end of the tunnel, or perhaps what are your key takeaways from Ninja Selling that you really would like to share with our ninjas here in our group. So Devin, let's start with you.
So with all of this going on, I think I shared with you yesterday that the first couple of days after school closure announcements were made, I had this moment of just not terror, but oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And man, this was the ultimate test of, are you going to be a victim or are you going to be a player? And, you know, getting back to the basics was what has sustained us and helped us to flourish during this time. And the basics to me is gratitude and Ninja 9. Those are the basics to me. And I feel like if you focus on those things, it brings you to a place of clarity and joy. And I feel like those things are attractive to people and they're reciprocating. And so you connect with people who want clarity and joy in their lives, and you just feed off of one another. And it's something that, again, it enriches your life. So we went back to the basics. That was the number one takeaway, and to continue that, I feel like coming out of this, undoubtedly, we're going to be better agents. We're going to be even more creative. We're going to be more intentional about reaching out to people. There are a lot of things where, you know, I felt like we took some things for granted, and now that's not the case, and just being even more detail oriented with everything that we do. And so I know we're coming out of this as better agents, but on the personal side of things, I feel like we're going to come out of this with a better perspective of what is good living. And, you know, prior to COVID, I felt like we were operating at such a frenetic pace, so fast. And this has taught me the beauty of slowing down just a little bit, and you can still get so much done because you can cut through the noise. And that's what I feel like we're really going to do when we come out of this. We're going to be able to cut through the noise and pick up the things that are important, and remember that it's the most important thing is to connect and to enjoy. So that's what we're going to be focusing on coming out of this.
Thank you. Well said, and what a gift to receive. Friley, share with us your takeaway that you would like to impart us with.
Well, I'd like to just ditto what Devin said. You know, I do think there's a lot of truth to that. And last year, I really said to myself, you know what, it's about putting Friley first, because I can't take care of anybody else or serve anybody else if I don't take care of me. And that goes from, you know, adding the exercise to my morning routine, you know, making sure that I do all the things I need to do for myself first. And I don't think that's being selfish. That's just being smart so that I can do more for others. And I think that, you know, it's my vision that when we sort of get to the other side of the curve here, that more and more people are feeling that way. So I think it's more of an observation of how the world is changing right while we're in shelter mode. You know, people are already talking about how they've changed their habits, their routines, and what they're going to keep in place. You know, finding things that they were doing in their lives are no longer essential. And, you know, I've certainly found some of those things too. So I think for me, my whole takeaway is just that as a society, I think we are all going to be a kinder, gentler group, to help each other and be more thoughtful of each other. And that's just as the general public, you know, that speaks to ninjas, it speaks to Sotheby's, it speaks to people all over the world. And so that's kind of my, you know, my takeaway. And that's really what Ninja is about is, you know, relationships and being caring and sharing with other people.
Yes, thank you. Pooja, I know that you mirror what they say, but you know, as we come to a close in this, is there 1 minute of additional things that you would like to share with us?
Well, for me, I think the importance of authenticity, caring, being heartfelt, passionate is paramount. And, you know, we live in a world of abundance, and I really believe it's all going to be great for everybody. And I'm really thankful for what I went through with the Ninja training and installation. It's helped me face the situation in the best way possible. So I'm very proud of that. And I also believe that, you know, we've got to enjoy life every day, and we've got to do the best we're capable of doing. And you've got to show people that you care. And if you do those things, it will really make an impact in your lives and everybody's lives you touch. And that's what I believe we all got to do.
Beautifully stated. Everyone, you know, I hope that you found value in this today. I'm so grateful. My heart is full, and I just feel like there's just, you know, I'm ready to take on the new challenges and a new way to look at life. So your words of wisdom, everyone, we're so grateful for. You are representative of so many all-star, superstar ninjas that we have here in Sotheby's International Realty with our family, and we're grateful for each of you. So thank you for being with us today, and we will all be in touch. So thank you so much.